Have you noticed lately that you don't enjoy being around people as much as you once did? If this question resonates with you, you're far from alone. Many individuals in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s find themselves stepping away from the very social circles they once cherished. It's not because they've lost interest, become bitter, or grown cold. It's because something deep within them has shifted. At Elder Health Essentials, we want you to know that these shifts aren't signs of weakness. Rather, they often stem from a newfound wisdom, a clarity about what truly matters. Today, we'll dive into 6 powerful reasons behind this natural tendency to seek solitude. Reasons that older adults often experience but rarely discuss openly. Some may surprise you, while others might deeply resonate with your own journey. By the end, you'll not only understand yourself better, but perhaps feel more compassionate toward your need for space. Pulling back from certain interactions isn't something to be ashamed of. In fact, it could be one of the healthiest, most empowering choices you've ever made. Let's begin with one significant factor: the weight of past betrayals. As the years pass, we don't just collect memories, we gather emotional bruises. Some heal easily, a minor disagreement, a forgotten misunderstanding. But others, deeper wounds from betrayals or rejections, linger. Maybe you've experienced it yourself. A friendship you deeply valued, only to see it crumble when you needed it most. Consider Eleanor, who at 81 used to love hosting vibrant dinner parties filled with laughter and connection. Over time, friends drifted away. Some betrayed confidences. Others vanished after her husband's passing. These small disappointments accumulated, making her realize that peace mattered more to her now than superficial company. It wasn't bitterness, but a protective layer of experience. Perhaps you feel similarly, that your heart deserves careful protection and your time is precious. Psychologists refer to this phenomenon as relational fatigue, where the emotional costs of maintaining relationships surpass the joy they once provided. It's not about becoming cold-hearted, it's about being wiser in whom you trust with your emotional energy. Your reluctance isn't bitterness. It's wisdom earned from life's hard lessons. Another important reason why you may find yourself avoiding social situations is simply the craving for peace over small talk. Think about your younger days, when mingling felt easy and enjoyable. Now, those endless conversations about weather or trivial gossip might feel exhausting rather than energizing. Consider Harold, a charming 76-year-old former salesman who now avoids large gatherings. It's not that he no longer enjoys company, he's simply tired of talking just to talk. Harold prefers fewer interactions, seeking meaningful conversations over forced pleasantries. Perhaps you too find yourself valuing authenticity more deeply, preferring quiet evenings and genuine connections over noisy crowds. This selectiveness is a sign of maturity, a recognition that emotional energy is a valuable resource worth conserving. If you've chosen to decline invitations lately or find yourself avoiding busy social events, know that it's not avoidance, it's clarity. You're clearer now on what truly fills your spirit and what leaves you drained. Embracing solitude or quieter connections isn't about losing your social spark. It's about respecting your own evolving needs. Another powerful, yet often overlooked reason you might feel withdrawn is the sense that people simply don't understand you anymore. As you age, it's natural to notice that the world around you has changed significantly. And so have you. Conversations that once flowed effortlessly now feel disconnected. It's as if you're speaking a different language from those around you. Perhaps the things that deeply matter to you no longer resonate with friends or family, leading to feelings of isolation, even in a crowded room. If you're still here with us and find these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below so we know you're connected. If you haven't yet subscribed, please do so and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss our next video. Your support enables us at Elder Health Essentials to continue providing content designed to empower, comfort, and inspire you during this meaningful stage of life. Remember, choosing solitude or a smaller circle isn't a sign of weakness or failure. It's often one of the wisest decisions you can make, honoring your peace, dignity, and emotional health. You deserve meaningful connections and authentic relationships, and it's perfectly okay to step away when those aren't available. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Have you noticed how the world around you has quietly changed? Conversations move faster, relationships shift more quickly, and even the slang seems foreign. Suddenly, the values and expectations of those around you seem worlds apart from your own. If you find yourself feeling this disconnect, know you're not alone. At Elder Health Essentials, we understand that as you age, sometimes it's not you who changes, but everything around you. Consider Marie, a 79-year-old retired teacher who once cherished conversations with her family, sharing rich stories of raising 5 children, balancing work, home, and community service. Yet recently, she's noticed that her stories are met with polite nods and wandering eyes fixed on phones. This shift isn't malicious. It's simply that younger generations often don't pause long enough to truly listen. Over time, this kind of subtle emotional dismissal becomes exhausting. You may start to withdraw, not out of bitterness, but from a quiet fatigue of feeling invisible, unheard, or misunderstood. Psychologists call this phenomenon emotional invalidation. When your experiences, emotions, and wisdom seem minimized or dismissed by those around you. It doesn't always occur in big dramatic moments. It often happens quietly, subtly, through small interactions that accumulate into something that feels much larger. Eventually, you might choose solitude not because you prefer being alone, but because it's easier, safer, and less draining. Yet here's the truth. Just because your voice isn't always heard doesn't mean it lacks value. Perhaps the real challenge isn't forcing yourself into conversations where you feel overlooked, but finding spaces and relationships where your insights are truly appreciated, where your presence alone is enough. It's natural to gravitate toward people who genuinely listen, rather than those who merely wait for their turn to speak. And when such relationships become scarce, protecting your energy by stepping back is a wise act of self-care, not something to feel guilty about. Another deeply personal reason older adults sometimes withdraw is the fear of becoming a burden. It's a quiet fear, rarely voiced but widely felt, born from love and dignity rather than pride. Maybe you found yourself declining invitations, not because you don't want to go, but because you worry about inconveniencing others. Perhaps you hesitate to share your concerns, not due to a lack of trust, but because you don't want to weigh anyone down. Frank, an 84-year-old widower, captures this sentiment perfectly. As his mobility declined, he began turning down invitations from his daughter's family, not from disinterest, but because he feared becoming a burden. They have their jobs, kids, their busy lives, Frank explained. I don't want to slow them down. Though his family never made him feel unwelcome, Frank's own fears overshadowed his longing for connection. This paradox is common among seniors. The more deeply you cherish relationships, the harder it becomes to lean on others for help. After a lifetime of strength, caregiving, and independence, asking for support can feel strange, even shameful. At Elder Health Essentials, we want you to know that feeling this way is normal. It doesn't mean you're weak or incapable. It means you deeply value the independence you've maintained throughout life. Yet, your loved ones often welcome the opportunity to support you in return for the many times you've supported them. Remember, vulnerability isn't weakness, it's courage. Being open with those you trust strengthens relationships rather than burdens them. If these insights resonate deeply with you, please comment number 2 below to let us know you're still with us, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so, turning on notifications to stay connected. Your continued support allows us at Elder Health Essentials to keep creating meaningful content that inspires, informs, and helps you navigate life's changes with grace and dignity. Thank you for joining us today. Remember, choosing to step back isn't about losing interest. It's about finding peace, preserving dignity, and respecting the wisdom of your own heart. We'll see you in the next video. Have you ever found yourself quietly stepping back from social interactions because deep down, you're worried about becoming a burden to those you love? It's a subtle yet powerful fear, rooted in something deeply human, the desire to be loved not out of obligation, but from genuine delight. You retreat not because you no longer care, but because the thought of causing inconvenience or discomfort to others feels unbearable. But here's an important truth from us at Elder Health Essentials. People who truly love you cherish the chance to support you. Your value isn't measured by how independently you can manage. It's measured by your presence in their lives. Yet despite knowing this intellectually, the fear often lingers, shaping your behavior. Perhaps you find yourself staying quiet when you wish to speak, or declining invitations you'd love to accept. Gradually, it can seem easier to avoid people altogether than to risk feeling like an obligation. If this resonates deeply with you, please comment number 4 below to let us know you're connecting with these insights. And remember, subscribing and turning on the notification bell helps us continue providing thoughtful, supportive content that can guide you gently through these feelings. Another important reason why you might feel yourself pulling away is the quiet ending of old connections. Not every relationship ends dramatically. Many simply fade over time. You drift apart gradually, almost unnoticed, until one day you realize that people who once played key roles in your life have quietly moved to the background. It's not always heartbreaking. Sometimes it's peaceful, sometimes bittersweet, but it often leaves you reflecting on how much things have changed. Take Ruth, for instance, a 73-year-old woman who used to share weekly walks with her best friend from high school. Eventually, weekly walks became monthly meetings, then yearly reunions, and finally, nothing at all. There was no dramatic fight or disagreement, just a mutual recognition that they had grown in different directions. Ruth explained it simply. We still care about each other, but perhaps we've said all we needed to say. This experience is more common than many realize. Relationships built around shared seasons, raising children, careers, or neighborhoods often don't survive as life moves forward. And as you age, you may find yourself prioritizing time and energy more selectively. Not because you're selfish, but because you've grown clearer about your own needs. Sometimes letting go isn't loss, it's growth. You choose distance not from bitterness, but from self-respect. After all, closeness without real connection can feel lonelier than solitude itself. And finally, Perhaps you've discovered one of life's richest secrets, the joy of your own company. At some point, you might have realized that solitude isn't loneliness, it's a sanctuary. Gerald, an 82-year-old who once thrived in social circles, now finds his greatest contentment sitting quietly on his porch, watching birds and savoring the peace. He explains it with a gentle smile. "I have enough stories in my mind to keep me company for days." What Gerald discovered isn't isolation, it's fulfillment. This shift often puzzles those around you. They may worry you're retreating out of sadness, but in reality, you're tuning into a deeper rhythm of life. You're choosing stillness because in silence, you've found clarity, peace, and authentic contentment. No longer needing to fill every silence, explain every decision, or constantly be available is not avoidance. It's wisdom. Solitude, when chosen intentionally, becomes a place of healing, reflection, and genuine freedom. It allows you to walk at your own pace, think your own thoughts, and experience life in a way that's genuinely fulfilling. As we wrap up, reflect on what resonated most deeply with you today. Was it the quiet endings of old friendships, the fear of becoming a burden, or the newfound joy in your own company? Whatever spoke to you, remember, avoiding social interactions doesn't make you bitter or broken. It might just mean you're becoming wiser. You've lived richly, gathered experiences, and earned the right to guard your peace and honor your own rhythm. At Elder Health Essentials, we're here to remind you that solitude isn't loneliness, it's clarity. Protecting your energy, valuing your peace, and choosing meaningful interactions over superficial gatherings isn't just understandable, it's admirable. Thank you for spending this time with us. Please leave a comment below sharing one insight you gained today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts encourage us deeply. If you found value here, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue providing meaningful content to guide and inspire you. Until next time, take care and cherish the wisdom you've earned.